Hey, welcome back to Daily Cigar. I am Lizardo, and today I'm joined with a very good friend, Kurosh. He has smoked cigars in the past, but he wants to learn a lot more. And I thought it would be a great idea to have kind of a review of a cigar where, I'm also helping him learn a little bit and maybe it will be helpful for somebody who's also starting in cigars. I think this is something we might do as a regular thing.
Let's see how it goes.
Today we have the Aladino, a lovely cigar, lovely people behind the brand. I met them in Dortmund, and this is the Aladino Vintage Selection Elegante. I'm gonna cut it for him, start it off, and then we start talking about the cigar a bit more. Let me do yours first. This is the first video we're doing on this setup, so bear with us. I'm not very used to this. When you cut the cigar, if you're new, make sure you cut as minimum as you can. All you want to do is remove the top layer so that you can have air coming through. And because this is a thin cigar, I will advise using a single flame because you want to avoid burning the outside wrapper. And as every other cigar, you take your time with it, you keep some space. I like to do the cigar straight and the lighter at an angle, and this way you can see where you're burning the cigar and
Oh,
keep it a
the flame is not
the,
touching the
exactly.
cigar directly.
Exactly. So this cigar is lovely. It's already smelling really nice. Take your time. You turn the cigar slowly, you see. And then when you see that it's mostly burnt, you give it a blow and you find any spots you missed. You go over it. And that's it. The cigar is ready.
Okay, very nice. The label, do you keep it on or do you keep it off?
The whole reason of the label is to hold the cigar. I know this is a little bit of a longer cigar, so it's a bit harder, but it is normally recommended you keep it on and you hold it from there to avoid putting oils on the wrapper and contaminating the wrapper.
So it's not like buying a jacket and forgetting to take the labels
No,
off.
no. It's a different kind of label on this one. I know that in the past, people used to take them off just so that they don't seem like, they're smoking an expensive cigar or things like that.
So if they don't want to show off.
Exactly. But they're there for a reason, and I actually prefer to keep it all the way to the end.
So how long is this cigar meant to last?
This should last about 45 minutes, an hour, depending on how fast we smoke. Because although it's a long cigar, it's a very thin cigar, so it burns a bit quicker.
So the thicker the cigar, the slower it burns as well, or is it the length?
It's the amount of tobacco that is burning. So if you have a short but very thick cigar, it will still take the 45 minutes. Like a Robusto takes 45 to an hour, which is about the same as this, but a Robusto is much shorter. How you find that?
Nice. I think it's like a medium tasting cigar. I don't really can't differentiate the tastes really. So
I smoked the Corojo, and this is vintage, so it's even a little bit better. This is the first time I'm smoking it. It is very creamy, a lot of smoke, very creamy, very light. I don't know about this one, but I don't think it's going to have anything strong. I think it's more of a medium cigar. And same goes for the strength. I don't think it's very, nicotine powerful cigar. It's only 11:30, so I think it's great.
how can you tell the nicotine content?
When they make the cigar, they grab the tobacco leaves from the different layers. So I got it. I don't know if you can see on the video. You see how the layers are divided in the plant, yeah?
Yeah.
So the higher up, the closer to the sun, the more nicotine it has. So sometimes people look at a cigar and think, oh, it has a light color on the outside.
Yeah.
But that kind of has nothing to do with the strength, because you could have a very light wrapper, like a claro wrapper, but then you have double ligero, which is like punchy.
So it's packed
With nicotine. That one is a very high nicotine cigar. People get confused. There's the strength and body. So body is the flavors. So this is a medium body. There's not much flavors popping that you can sometimes pick up, like chocolate and coffee and things like that. But there's also strength, and some people get them mixed up. But when you go to a store or when you buy online, make sure you check strength, which is the nicotine, and body, which is the flavor profile.
So where is this Aladino from? Are they Dominican?
Mm-mm. Honduran. It's a Honduran cigar. It has a lot of characteristics to Habano. So that cedar, that mellow flavor, very clean, especially the Vitola. This Vitola was very famous.
Very similar to a Cohiba I smoked once.
Yeah?
I think, yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Don't quote me on it.
I think it's very elegant, easy smoke. So I think for a beginner or for like a morning cigar, if you got an hour when you're gonna have your coffee, just a normal Americano, you don't have to put milk on it or anything because it's not that strong.
So what do we know about the company?
That's what I'm trying to research.
I don't just...
If you want to drop the ash so it doesn't fall on your clothes, you take and then you just roll it slowly.
Okay.
And then that comes off. So patting it is not a good thing to do.
But this shows that it's got a good construction,
Yes.
that is burning evenly.
Yes. You can see how the line, also the ash is holding strong. That tells you that the cigar is doing well. Reason why I want to have it on the website. I think the construction is...
So this is sometimes when it goes sideways, is it because of the construction of the cigar, or is it because of the way
the way that it was rolled, yeah.
it rolled, not the way that it was lighted?
Sometimes you can make a mistake lighting it, but normally if the cigar has been rolled properly, it will correct itself.
Correct itself.
Yeah, or you might just need to touch it up a bit, and that's it. This Vitola is a really hard Vitola to roll because of its size. Yeah. So only the best rollers normally are the ones that are used to roll the cigar. And I mean, this is how you know they're doing a great job.
Question, is this like do we have like masculine and feminine cigars?
No.
No, they're all cigars. No. Okay. Looks a bit like I was expecting to come here and like
have a big fat cigar. Yeah. No, so these cigars, I'm not sure if it was the 50s. I know they were, this Vitola, the Lancero, was very common in the past. Then they started to introduce shorter cigars because of less time, and then they made them a bit wider because the shorter as well, the hotter it will burn. This is a long cigar, so by the time the smoke hits your palate, it's a bit cool. Yeah. But when it gets shorter, it's hotter. Yeah. So for this size, it's perfect because by the time you get here, your palate is already ready for that heat. But when you're starting already halfway with a short cigar, it's not as nice. So they started to make the cigars a bit wider so more air goes through and made it better. And slowly we came to the most requested Vitola, which is the Robusto.
So traditionally, what are the famous Lanceros? Who does the
Cohiba?
Cohiba does Lanceros.
The most famous Lancero will be the Cohiba Lancero.
What is Aladino? Is that just a Spanish name?
You asked me this before.
He's invited me here to play on his phone.
I'm looking for the information for you. You said, let's go and just smoke, relax, put the camera on. Now he's asking all the questions. Oh, yes, okay. It was founded by Julio Eiroa and his son, Justo Eiroa. He was in the event. Yeah, but I didn't speak to him. I spoke to his daughter, which is the granddaughter. So I believe the third generation. I don't know what it really means, but it's basically the name of the line. So they have Aladino, Rancho Luna, and Tatascan. The one that I smoked was the Corojo, which is, again, has the authentic Cuban profile because the Corojo seed is the Cuban seed that they took to Honduras. Obviously, the soil will change, so it won't be as the same, but the seed, it was the same.
Is that for the filler?
No, the Corojo was the wrapper, the one that I smoked. So the Aladinos, this one, let me have a look at the blend on this one. This is Corojo as well. So this is what they say, yeah? Aladino embodies every word on that phrase. This cigar is a puro, an authentic Corojo grown in the JRE tobacco farms in Honduras, from the original Cuban seed of Corojo. Its flavor and characteristics are unique to its kind that brings you back to the golden eras of cigars in Cuba from 1947 to 61. With its traditional sizes available in a 60 by 61, which is a gordo, for the more contemporary smoker. This is why I reminded you of the Cohiba. So it's a puro, so it's only Honduran tobacco is being used.
Puro means it's like pure Honduran.
Yes, yeah, so
the filler, the wrapper,
yes,
and the binder
are all from one country.
One country.
Yeah. But the
seed is from
Cuba.
Cuba.
Yeah.
So,
To call it puro, it means that the tobacco is grown in one region, one country. For example, all the habanos are called puros because all their leaves are planted in Cuba. They all come from Cuba. They don't bring tobacco from anywhere else.
never.
No, that's their thing. Like they only do Cuban tobacco because I'm not saying they're wrong, but to their belief is that the Cuban tobacco is the best tobacco. So they don't want to mix it with lower
Or they
quality
believe in
tobacco.
like vertical integration. Huh? So are the Cubans do puros is because of the sanctions and they have to do puros, or is it just their spiel?
I really don't know if it has anything to do with the sanctions, but what they said is that their tobacco is the best tobacco.
Yeah.
So if you mix it with something from somewhere else, you are lowering your quality.
So are there
Exclusivity.
advantages and disadvantages to be puros, or
The good thing is if you keep it as a puro, like Cuba has done, that's their profile, that's their flavor. Nobody else can make a habanos like Cuba does.
I can't isolate the different tastes that you guys always talk about? Does
Yeah.
that take time to
Yeah.
be able to do that, or is it some people can do it and some people can't do it?
It all comes to like the way you train in your palate. I, for example, like to drink coffee a lot, single origin, and I've trained the palate a bit with coffee. That's how I started. But as you smoke and you smoke different cigars, you start to pick them up, and your kind of like your brain makes the connection with the flavors.
Okay. So is it where you have to do a variety before you start?
Yes, and slowly. But I mean, when you smoke, I know here we're trying to taste the cigar, but normally when you're just enjoying the cigar, you don't have to really bother. It's just a cigar that you like. But I like to see if I can pick up different notes. I'm into that. It keeps me entertained. But it's practice, trying different foods, trying different things.
Oh, so what you eat with it is
Oh, that's pairing. That's different. But what I'm trying to say is that, for example, if I tell you this cigar reminds me of, because it doesn't have a real taste, yeah, it's basically some notes that the oils on the tobacco leaf are giving my tongue, and the brain is making a connection with, oh, that's like chocolate, because it doesn't really taste, it's not chocolate, there's no chocolate in here. When for example, if I tell you this cigar reminds me of a fruit that I used to eat in Venezuela, it will never taste to you that way because you've never tried the fruit. But if you had experience with the fruit, then if I say it reminds me of this, and you, oh yes, that's the note that I'm looking for. So your brain doesn't make the connection unless you've tried.
So like to me, this might taste like baklava, and you would.
Exactly. So to make those connections, you not only have to smoke cigars, you also have to try different things.
Okay. Wow.
Drinks, food, fruits, nuts, all of this.
So like the same cigar can taste differently to
Different people.
Different people.
Yeah. So the master blender creates a blend that he thinks, that he likes, and he thinks is going to be well received. But what I taste doesn't mean you're going to taste the same. Cigars also do something that is quite funny. It gives you memories of places and times. I heard this before, yeah, it never happened until one day I was here smoking a cigar and I had the window open and a little breeze came in. And in that moment, it reminded me of being in Portugal by the sea, and because it had like a bit of a saltiness in the cigar, and the aroma, I don't know what it was, but it's like, and it just took me back, similar to what a perfume could do. So somebody walks past you and, oh, that's my mom, that's my grandmother. It reminds you of that person, but it wasn't that person, it's just a memory. Cigars do that. Some cigars are very floral and it reminds you of weddings and things like this sometimes, or special events. So yeah, that's quite funny. I thought it was a lie, but it happened.
The smell triggers some memory.
A memory.
Well, that makes sense.
So something I just realized, the camera stops at 30 minutes. I knew this, but I haven't been paying attention.
So how long have you been talking?
I don't know. We're just gonna wing it. I'm gonna edit to see if I can make it work. If you notice a bit of a jump, that's what happened. But this is the first time I'm doing it, so Please bear with me.
I hope you got my baklava joke.
I think that one was it. But yeah, so normally I do the reviews on my own, but as Kuros is trying to learn and widen his knowledge in cigars, we thought it would be a great idea to have somebody who has a bit more of understanding like me, somebody who's kind of entering the cigar world, because there he will ask questions that will be asked by somebody who's in the same situation. Again, I'm not an expert, but I know a bit.
But I thought you were an expert.
No, I'm a sommelier, but it doesn't mean that I'm an expert.
Oh, the sommelier doesn't mean you're an expert.
Well, I don't think so.
You're an
There are
expert.
people who think that is enough, but an expert is somebody who has growing tobacco, smoking 3-4 cigars a day.
Compared to me, you're an expert.
Yeah, but compared to these guys, I'm like a newbie. But that's really nice about the cigar world, because no matter what stage you're in, you're always learning.
These are quite nice. These are
Yeah.
nice cigars.
Yeah, this is. I mean, I'm adding it to the website for that reason. I smoked the other one, not the vintage, and I found that one a little bit fresher than this, but this is a bit more elegant and easier in the palate, and the smoke is very creamy. Oh, so the date you were asking in the band, so it says 1947 and 1961.
I didn't see the 1947.
It's being
Okay. Okay.
is to do with the golden era of cigars in Cuba.
Okay, 47.
So it's like a commemorance to that year, those years, the golden era. The vintage, which is this one that I'm smoking, has been rolled with cigars aged from 4 to 5 years. So this lets the tobaccos combine and develop their flavor profile. This Honduras Puros was created to bring back the golden years of Cuba. You see that cone that we're getting?
Yeah.
That means that when they roll the cigars, the filler has been wrapped properly. So the ligero, which is the one that burns the slower, is at the middle, and you want it at the middle. Okay. Yeah, so you get that cone. Sometimes you get cigars that are dipped, that's bad, and you get cigars that you have holes in there. Again, that's bad.
So I was reading. They say cigar has three parts. So it's the first third, second third, and the last third.
It gets divided. It's not that it has it. It gets divided. Sometimes the blenders do take that into consideration. So sometimes they put more ligero to the front or at the end, depending what they want the experience to be. But the reason when you're smoking or reviewing a cigar, you divide it in thirds is because when you just lit the cigar, only now there's a bit of heat going through the cigar. So the flavors will be different to when you're like in the middle, where you have already been smoking for 30, 40 minutes and a lot of smoke going through, all the oils in the leaf have already warmed up, so the flavors will change.
This is starting to taste really nice now.
Yeah?
The taste like changed just recently. Yeah.
So some cigars are very linear. Again, that's what the Master Blender wants. So whatever you taste at the beginning, you're gonna get that all the way. And then you have cigars that developed.
So I think the flavors are getting stronger.
Yes, I really like this Vitola.
It's nice. I wasn't expecting. I thought you were going to give me like some basic newbie cigar that you find it on the corner shop. Don't waste it.
No, the selection that I'm having on the website is selected. You know, I'm not going to have all the cigars available in the UK. I'm going to have a curated selection of cigars that I smoked, and I think if you buy, anybody who will buy this will enjoy.
So where can I get this?
My newly launched website.
Plug it in.
Toropuro.com.
You stock this currently?
Yes, so literally arrived yesterday. Yeah. I have to upload it and it'll be live on the website hopefully by the end of the week. And we're smoking this. I'm smoking it with pour over coffee, just black coffee, and you're drinking a cappuccino.
Cappuccino.
It's a very nice, and I think it's great for like we're smoking it now, because one thing I don't like is when you have when you smoke a cigar, and then all day you stink of tobacco. This one, the aroma is, the smoke is not that strong. So I think it's more, you can carry on with your day without being the guy that stinks of tobacco. Again, the construction is great. Look, linear, the ash holds. It gets to a point that it's going to fell because it's normal, but it holds quite nice. Great ash. That's all right. We clean it after. I went to when we went to Germany. I went to one of the cigar tastings, and the owner comes with a little hand hoover. Yeah, he like the whole thing finished. He clears the table up and goes, and it's like new again. I was like, wow, I need one of them in my office.
Love that.
Yeah, because one of the hardest thing is 2-3 people smoking, the ash goes everywhere, especially a little bit of wind or something.
Because ash is clean. They used to put ash on their wounds. So back in the days, if you get,
but it's messy.
If you get like stabbed, they would dress it with ash. My father used to drop some ash on his Persian carpets and rub it in, and he would say it would stop it from
lice,
moths, and things like that. From I don't know. If
it could. I know they use
old wives' tale, or he knew something. I don't.
Did he ever get moths?
No.
So maybe, so maybe it's true. It's very clean because all you're smoking, all it is just plain tobacco. When you're smoking a premium cigar, the people who manufacture these cigars are very into minimum amount of chemicals.
There is no pesticides and things like that. But how can you grow a plant without using any pesticides? What if they get some kind of
For example, in Cuba, they had a mold. Yeah, so the plants were having in the leaves, they were still on the plant. You were getting mold.
Wow.
And that apparently devastated farms and farms and farms. So instead of adding pesticides, they went back and they re-engineered the seed so that it doesn't get affected by mold. So they prefer to go that far into the detail than adding chemicals, because at the end of the day, when you smoke it, you're going to smoke the chemicals. And it kind of defeats the point, because this is a natural product and they're very proud of it being natural, which is the big difference between this and cigarettes.
The cigarettes is all chemicals and
the paper and everything.
Accelerators and
I don't know.
Yeah, because if you put a cigarette down, it continues burning to the end. Mm-hmm. So those are accelerators in them and everything like that. But if you,
well, this one I was talking and it went off.
Yeah, it's these ones. Or even those hand rolled tobaccos. If you roll like one of those and put them down, they go off as well.
Yeah.
So they don't have accelerators apparently.
Yeah, but this is just natural.
So I smoke cigarettes until I quit 2023. So it's just a year and a half now since.
Yeah, but you've been trying to quit for a long time.
Yeah, I read this book, Easy Way to Quit Smoking. It's a great book written by an accountant, and it just clicked. Sometimes you read something, it just clicked, and I quit smoking cigarettes, and I found it really, really easy.
What was it?
The thing that the book explained was that nicotine doesn't do anything for you, which I didn't realize. So I thought, hey, if I have some, if I'm drinking alcohol, nicotine is good with that, or after food, or if I'm nervous and anxious, it will calm me down. So I was under the impression that it has these benefits, but I realized those are just
excuses.
No, it's like a mirage. It's like a trap. The only reason it makes you calm or it tastes good after alcohol and food and anything is because you're addicted to the nicotine. So the addiction comes first, then all the pleasure. If the addiction goes, there is no pleasure. So that just made this. So I suddenly realized, oh, this is not doing anything for me other than harming me. And all the good points I think it has, it's just because I'm addicted. If I'm not addicted, and the book explained that nicotine stays in your system for 21 days, if I'm not addicted, all of it would go away, and it did.
It's a very nice cigar. Definitely glad that I got it on the website. If you guys want to try it, give it a try. Let me know what you think, because it's enjoyable again. So we've been smoking for 1 hour now.
I don't know. When did we start?
So the camera stopped at 30 minutes.
Oh, did it stop again?
No. And we are 27 minutes. So 30, 40.
So nearly an hour.
Nearly an hour.
Wasn't
Nice
so
cigar.
much. It was stopped in the middle.
No, but let's say nearly an hour. It's nice.
Yeah.
And it's still very enjoyable.
So are you ahead of me now?
No.
Yes, you are.
Caught up. By the time you took your band off, I took a couple of puffs.
You win the race.
Again, when you're smoking a cigar, you smoke as fast as you want. Okay? Even if the cigar goes off, you can light it again.
Yeah, but it tastes horrible.
If you light it straight away, no. If you leave it half an hour, and come back, it changes. Okay.
So like the charred smell goes.
Yes. But if we're talking and it goes off and you just light it again and carry on, they still warm the cigar, is fine. Some people enjoy smoking more quickly.
So how do you light it on again? Do you have to cut the head?
No. You just tap, get the ash as much as you can. If it falls off, it falls off. Like that.
Yeah.
And then you I prefer to just light the outside of the wrapper. So you go slowly around, you see, a little bit. Mine is lit, so I don't have to do it, but you just go around it, or you can just go through the front. Again, keep a distance. The only thing I don't like about doing it that way is that because we use jet lighters, it pushes some of those impurities into the cigar. Doing it this way, the outside leaf will eventually burn inwards because of the way the air goes in, and you'll have perfectly lit cigar.
Oh, and I know this one. You don't put out a cigar.
Yeah.
Stomp it out. You just leave it and.
Yeah, you let it die on its own. One is, they say, is respect to the people who has produced the cigar. Okay, so you let the cigar die on its own peacefully. But the real reason is when you stomp the cigar, the ashes and everything will produce a bad smell. So if there's people around you, it's not nice. Plus, you don't really need to, like a cigarette. You have to,
leave it for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, you just leave it there and walk away and it'll go off. But it did become more flavorful.
Definitely.
More flavorful. I think the coffee that I'm drinking is a bit too strong for me to pick up the notes. But this is a great cigar for somebody who's starting. This is the reason why I wanted you to smoke this. Because sometimes when you have many notes or many flavors coming through or strength, it could be too much for somebody who's new. But this, if you're a person who likes coffees, even some dark teas or things like that, this would be very nice. You can pair this with tea, coffee, maybe some light spirits, maybe something like a light aged rum. Wouldn't be too bad. But a coffee morning after breakfast, this is really nice. I want to say thank you for joining me today, Kurosh. It's been a pleasure having you here, and you always have some great stories like your dad with the ash and the Persian rugs. I hope we can do this again. If you guys have liked the video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Leave us a comment. Any questions for Kurosh or me or about the cigars, feel welcome to leave them in the comment.
Thank you for having me, Lizardo. It was a pleasure. I had a lot of fun. I hope we can do this again soon.
Let's try and make like a series, maybe once a week or twice a month or something like that. This timing is the problem, I believe.
Absolutely, free cigars.
Who would say no to
How
that?
many do you want to review?
But no, it's really nice because when I'm on my own, I know I had some technical difficulties now, but I can plan it better when I'm on my own. But it's a bit boring, let's say. And I like the idea that you ask me questions, even if I have to research them on the spot.
Sorry if it's dumb questions. Yeah.
No. There's no dumb questions.
So we can get this from your site, which is
toropuro.com.
Toropuro.com. It's available now.
Yeah, by the time the video is released, I'll have it live. But you know, they're widely available in the UK as well. So if it's not there, you can just search for it on Google and find it. But if by the time I release the video, they're up, I'll leave a link. You guys do whatever you want to do. Be grateful if you can help. I will actually appreciate a bit of feedback on the website because it's recently launched. So if you find any problems or is it good or is it bad, just let me know. Also for the selection, like I said, the cigars there have been selected by me. And I think not just to my taste, but I think are cigars that will be enjoyed by anybody that, you know, is looking to smoke a nice cigar and have a good time. So that'll be very, very welcome. You don't have to just go and buy, but give me the feedback at least.
Thank you.
No worries.